Fam, what's going on? This is James Grandmaster Facts Voice, and this past weekend I got a chance to go to Black Label Comic Con in the greater city of Philadelphia. And in this conquest of going to a con for like the first time in probably around like 2 years, I got the opportunity to see some of my favorite indie comic book creators on that stage for the very first time. So I got to see Lonzo Star, Jamil, Leslie, and Daniel Calvo from Konkret Comics, Lawrence King from Constant Hustle Comics, Jason Richardson, who has a tabletop fighting game, Takahatsu fighting game called VT Heroes. And I got a chance to do a small little interview with each and every one of them because I've had opportunities to do podcasts with some of these gentlemen, as well as my IG series that I was able to do. So inside of this small little clip, you will see little interviews that I was able to do during that time period. And we got to have a lot of fun while we were there. Even though it was only in the span of 6 hours, we got a chance to... It was a chance for a lot of the content creators and a lot of the comic book creators to get their stuff out, actually have physical sales on the books, which is something that they haven't been able to do for a long time because they've been doing everything through the web and doing marketing and promotion through social media. And it was just fun to actually like see that live for the first time in the past couple of years. And I hope that I get the opportunity to do it again. So have fun watching this clip of just me being me and having fun with a lot of my friends at Black Label Comic Con.
Yeah, I'm buying Grandmaster. Bizak. You know we getting Bizak. We stay Bizak. Black Label. Give me how we get it on. Oh,
shit, let's rock. Hey, we're like, yo. Yo, this is James Grandmaster Facts Boys reporting live from the Black Label Comic Con in Philadelphia, PA, with the Konkret crew. Big Lonzo, Big Daniel, and all of the Konkret lineup in full effect. Even got that Decimation Earth. Shout out to David Rucker.
Y'all here, man. You see the bot, right?
So, man, how does it feel to have a hometown Comic Con on your hands, brother?
Can't go wrong.
Because you from Philly, right?
I'm from Philly, man. I'm from Delco. You know, can't go wrong with being home, celebrating with the people and the family out here. Danny D out here. Shout out to the love, man.
Now, Daniel, what's it like to collaborate with all these indie companies and everything, and having a day like this today?
It's a dream, man. I mean, 10 years ago, would you think that something like this would have happened? You know, it's amazing to see how in such a short time we're growing, and we're growing not only as a community that support each other, but also as a culture too, that we're all embracing this side, this geekiness that for such a long time it was rejected. And now we're allowing ourselves to heal from that and grow, right? And actually accept all these beautiful things like this artwork, science fiction, fantasy, comics. You know, so it's just amazing it's an honor really to be around so many cool people in this Comic Con.
Like if we're talking about this 3 years ago, y'all maybe had what? One book?
3 years ago, all we had was these three right here, man.
3 years ago. And now today you got a full lineup, an entire universe that you're selling.
Man, the whole banner. Man.
Y'all just got back from Atlanta.
Oh yes, sir.
Selling a ton of books over there at Comic Con. Definitely got to see a bunch of good people.
Yes sir, man. Had cosplayers coming dressed as Acolyte and stuff like that. It was dope. Crazy.
Dope, man. So what's coming up for you guys in the future?
September, he's doing another Comic Con out here. I think it's a Nerdtino one, right?
I'm doing Feria del Barrio, which is an event that's going to be happening in Philly with Nerdtino and a lot of cool Latinx creators. It's going to be dope. We're doing
same day I'm doing Kim Fest in New Jersey. So we're going to be all over the place.
With the brother PBS Soldier.
Yeah, exactly. And I think at the end of this month, Naj is doing something. He might be going to Dragon Con or Power Rangers Con.
It might be Dragon Con if it's in Atlanta.
In October, we're going to Baltimore Con.
So, Baltimore Comic Con.
Turn up, man, all day, man.
So look, man, for anybody that does not know, Konkret Comics is basically out here in full effect. They're touring the country. Now the Comic Cons are back open because of COVID. They finally out here selling books retail for everybody. So get out here, get your books as much as possible and see what's out here.
I know what it is, man. Lonzo Starr.
And Daniel Calvo.
Great to see you.
Indeed. Peace. James Grandmaster Facts here with Jamil Leslie and Daniel Calvo from Konkret Comics. I wanted to ask the both of you this. As far as the sci-fi genre and the horror genre in comics, do you feel as though it's reaching an ascension that a lot of people are catching on and doing a lot more aesthetically known, categorized comic books rather than just a plain old superhero?
I feel like we are moving towards more diversity.
Yeah.
But even when you look at a lot of superhero comic books, a lot of superhero comic books are no longer just purely superhero. Now they're more science fiction comics that have some superhero elements, or horror comics that have kind of like a superhero element.
Right.
Because science fiction and horror and all these genres are the ones that really attract the masses. You know, if you look at the numbers of the highest selling comic books and the highest selling movies, they're always blockbusters. The biggest, the ones that make the most money, always in the box office, are always usually horror movies. So you start to see a lot of people in comics catching up. There's already a large tradition of horror comic books.
Right.
But for decades that was kind of lost with the whole boom of superheroes. And now we are catching up. I mean, when you read Absolver, I don't read Absolver thinking this is a superhero comic book. I read this as a horror comic book.
Right.
That has some action and kind of superhero style stuff into it. And the Starboy, I'm not writing it as a superhero comic book. I'm writing it as a science fiction comic book.
That's what I saw it as.
So when you look at this, I think that we are finally starting to see some diversity, some not only diversity in the characters presented, but also in the stories that are coming up, because writers and publishers are starting to catch up. People don't want the same old package. People want to see some different stuff. They want to see new ways of presenting stories in science fiction, horror, action, all of this stuff. They want to see it more beautiful and aesthetically. They want to see aesthetic changes. They want to see story changes. So I think this is only going to get bigger and better as time goes on. You know, I'm very excited for all the horror and science fiction that is coming out, not only from Konkret Comics, but in general in the culture.
Jamel, you agree?
I agree with everything he said. You know, I couldn't. He explained it beautifully. You know, me, I was shocked when Absolver got put in the horror category.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like Daniel said, I didn't write it for that aspect. I was just writing. So what you're getting now from a lot of writers is, in the indie community, it's just great storytelling based off of like what they like or personal experiences.
Right.
So when comics first came, just as when comics first came out, it was an escape. It was a little bit of war. Everybody needed a hero. All of that stuff. So as that transition to superheroes only.
Yeah.
So I think now we're in the time period where everything's just one melting pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, one melting pot. And I have no problem with being Absolver being categorized as horror and Andy Starboy clearly being sci-fi. So I always quick to ask, are we saying sci-fi because it's alien?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Are we saying horror because I got demons?
Uh-huh.
Because when I think horror, I think like you're trying to scare me or something.
Uh-huh.
And when I think sci-fi, I'm thinking robots, cyberpunk, you know, scientific stuff, sci-fi, you know, scientific fantasy. So, I mean, to me, I think to better understand how I look at it, when it comes to spoken word, poetry, however you interpret it, it's yours.
Oh, word.
So however you interpret my story, that's absolutely yours. You think it's horror? Yo, that's dope. You think it's action? That's dope. So I prefer this melting pot, you know, and you say horror, he says action, best of both worlds. So that's just how I look at it.
That is true. I think that we're starting to see more that people care less about labels and more about just making a unique story. You know, It's not so much this falls into this genre or this genre or this genre. It's more like it's very postmodernistic in that way that it is a melting pot, like Jermaine was saying. You know, it's not just one genre that you're reading. It's not just one kind of story that you're reading. You're reading 3 or 4 different kinds of stories because we're trying to find different angles in which to present a new book to the world.
No, man. Hey, man, appreciate y'all.
All right, thanks.
Keep selling these motherfuckers. So, James Grandmaster Facts Boys here with Lawrence King from Constant Hustle Comics. You see it. You see it. Alright, so what is it like now that we got physical cons back out here, that you're able to travel and sell your books back out here on the road?
It's amazing to me finally being able to connect with fans again, being able to talk to people, because people feed off your enthusiasm. So if you got enthusiasm for your product, you got enthusiasm for your line, the things you're trying to do, then they have the same amount of enthusiasm, or not the same amount, but they have amount of enthusiasm as well, and then they want to be a part of it. They want to get your books, they want to get your posters, they want to be a part of what you're trying to get done. And I love that. I love that. I believe in what we do so much that when other people start to believe in it too, I love that. It's infectious. I love that.
So for somebody that has the habit of creating comics that are mostly based around family and team-ups, where most of the priority are the people that are involved in your lives, being a past guest on the program, being on the Facts Project, and you was telling me how family played like the biggest part in a lot of the comics that you create. Now, the emphasis on your pitch when you're selling it to a lot of these customers, how are you bringing that out to them as far as like letting them know, if you're like, yeah, it's a sci-fi book, but there's a lot of me involved in this?
I tell them that the book is based on my family. I tell them that the book is based on my family, and I tell them the exact ways that it's based on my family. I say to them, this is based on my family. My son, which comes to me to every Comic-Con right there, I say that's the character that's right here.
Right.
I tell them how. If they ask, I tell them how we based his power set off that. My son is a running back, so he's like a baby juggernaut. To where once he starts moving, it's a wrap.
Momentum.
And then also he can manipulate the gravity of people around him. So he can come running towards you, and you think you're going to do something, and he puts you in the air and just knocks you clean out. So I try to emphasize that, and if people sit and ask me like what the whole story is going to be about, basically it's about forgiveness, and how no matter which parent it is, they all need a certain amount of, second chances. They need a certain amount of forgiveness. They need a certain amount of everything. So it's more about that. It's about them learning how to be family and then learning how to be heroes. But depending on the situation is what takes first seat and what takes the back seat.
Perfect, bro. All right, so everybody that's out here, we are live at Black Label Comic-Con in Philadelphia with my man Lawrence King. Get out here, buy some books. Right now, he's got a Kickstarter live for Eviction Bellium, correct?
Eviction Bellum, yep.
Now, how many more days we got left?
21 more days of Eviction Bellum. Eviction Bellum is a multiversal, warring odyssey. Think of it like for those who want to compare it to something, think of it like Endgame, just on a bigger scale, because that was just one universe in Endgame. Think of it like multi-universes of the same amount. So you're talking about over 15 superheroes. You're talking about 10 to 12 supervillains. You're talking about at least 13 different universes. You're talking about them pitting each other against one another to see which one is going to come out on top until they learn and understand what's happening and how they deal with that. So It's a humongous event. It's got 21 days left to it, and you're not just getting a 22-page comic, which there's nothing wrong with that. We've done those before too. But you're getting a 70-page Odyssey. 3 books in one. 3 separate artists, same colorist. You'll get a couple of character pages in there too, so you know what's going on with everything. It's really a big deal. You should really get on top of it. Just go to facebook.com/Constant Hustle Comics, and it's all over there. Go to Instagram to c.h.comics. It's all over there. Go to Twitter to C Hustle Comics, and it's all over there too. So please be a part of it. 21 days left. We're trying to push it hard.
And if you got the Kickstarter app, just look up for Eviction Bellum right under Constant Hustle
Go to
Comics.
Kickstarter, look for Eviction Bellum. There's a tier where you can become a villain in our in the universe, in the Constant Hustle Comics universe itself. And the funny part about that is one of the villains we use in Eviction Bellum was one of the people who donated to another Kickstarter to become a villain. So we don't just put you in there for anything. We really want you to be a part of what we're doing. And then there's another tier, which is the biggest tier we have, where we'll design and help you write and distribute a 10-page comic of what you want it to be. So just go to Kickstarter.com and go to Eviction Bellum. We're all over it, baby.
Hey.
Be a part of it.
Lawrence, thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Always.
All right.
And then support. And then start again.
Yo, what version 2.0 going here?
Okay, slow down, man.
All right. James Grandmaster Facts Boys here for the Facts Project. Talking to my man Jason from J1 Studios and BT Heroes. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
So I asked you a stupid question. I said, when's version 2.0 coming out?
Yo, and he almost got punched in the face. Cause like, it's my family and all, but yo, don't be coming at me yet. Cause I still gotta make series 1.1. 1.1 is a remastered version of series 1.
Right.
The example of like how we're remastering it, like visually. This is, I don't know if you see this right here, the art here.
Yep.
This is the cover art for obviously this box. That's the cover art for series 1.1. So we're gonna add more details and all that stuff because I was actually injured throughout the creation of this game.
Wow.
I had severed my tendons in a weird Alaskan chopping blade situation. We're not gonna go into the details, but it chopped my hand all the way up, blood everywhere. So actual blood, sweat, and tears went into this game. All right, and I had lost mobility in my drawing hand, so I had to like etch a sketch, like my hand. And,
So you was like 50 Cent trying to rap with his jaw wired shut.
Yeah. And now I got myself fixed up, sort of. I'm now gonna do the remastered version, and we're going to discontinue this version, so this one will actually have even more value. Then on top of that, we're going to have the 1.2 live action edition, because we have our actors and our models and all that stuff for BT Heroes,
Right.
because we're doing a series of live action commercials and like little webisode type things. So we're gonna do a version of the like series 1, but instead of drawings, all this will be the actual like actors. All this, every card. We even have a prop team making the weapons, and we're working with a special effects team to make the special effects on the cards. Instead of having drawings of spirit animals, it's gonna be like CG. And we'll see what we can do. Money tight.
So is that going to apply to a Kickstarter as well? Is this one going to also go up on Kickstarter to get that one funded as well?
For the 1.1 and 1.2, they will not go up the Kickstarter.
Okay.
They will just be available in our store online. And if I, am out at events like this, we won't be selling Series 1. So get it while you can. And if you can't get here, go online, pick up a copy because it will be discontinued. And Series 2, I'm hoping to start putting the Kickstarter for that next year.
Okay.
And people love the idea where we had the Kickstarter where you could actually be a canon character in the story, in the actual mythos your name, your government, your whole face, whatever you want to wear, that's all chosen by you. You pick which VT hero you want to control in your story. And the graphic novel, that's what we're working on now. Yeah. So I'm back in the comics again. Writing and drawing.
Hey, look, I feel like something that's missing. We haven't seen a Tokuhatsu comic series in a long time.
Yeah.
Outside of Power Rangers.
Well, there's Power Rangers, a few, and I know. Oh my gosh, there's one that I was Radiant Black.
Radiant Black, yes sir.
Because I know Kyle Higgins, and he's an awesome dude. I'm trying to we were hanging out not too long ago, so I'm gonna see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to bring back, but mine's not really a team or anything like that. Mine's a fighting tournament.
Yeah.
So it's literally Street Fighter, but with the theme of that whole Japanese toku, sentai, all that stuff. So I'm just trying to mix it up.
Okay.
You know?
And last but not least, how are you feeling that we got physical cons back out this year and you're able to put this out to the public and get people to see your product firsthand?
I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty dope for me because people are buying the game left and right. I mean, we had stacks, they're not stacks anymore. People are play testing it at literally right behind me. And
right.
Whenever they play test it, it always follows with a sale. So
True.
Too bad about that.
All right, bro.
But I'm working with, we're putting out a soundtrack soon. 27-track soundtrack for VT Hero Series 1.
Yep, I remember.
We're waiting on the last song to finish being mixed and mastered, and then it'll go out. And then we're going to start working on Series 2. I'm doing a Kickstarter. I got a lot.
Yeah, man.
And I got J1 to worry about.
Look, the one thing I always say is that you definitely are one of the hardest working men in blurred culture. It's amazing to see you. I hope that you get some rest and hit your asthma pump before you go to bed.
Yeah. Listen, that ain't gonna work because I got a 1-year-old now, so I don't sleep at all.
No.
Before I didn't sleep because I was working on stuff. Now when I try to do that, he lets me know. He's like, no, you gotta get up. We gotta watch Blue's Clues.
Bro, well look, man, continue doing what you're doing. I hope you sell a bunch today. It's always a pleasure.